Let's grab Emma onto her back, please. In a nutshell, we're going to go switch base forwards to start with. This elbow here is what we call the spacer. So that's what you're trying to get down to get the space to be able to move. So technically, a lot of time that we're pushing this attack here, anytime that I open up a window of opportunity, i.e. my elbow comes away from my body, she has the ability to start to push. Does that kind of make sense? Secondly about it is, anytime that I come too far forward, she can lift her elbow up, create space and start to hit the scap wide to rescue from the arm bar, etc. So what we want to do is we want to realign our body. So our body's kind of facing this way through the hips. I want to try and get it to more of a 90-degree angle. This means that the elbow will now need to leave the body to frame against me. So what we're doing is from here, step, step, and I come backwards. So now the frame system, for her to actually get pressure, she has to extend the body. I can bring my leg under. So now the frame system's caught on the top. So if she does try to roll back towards me, because the elbow's on top of my leg, it's harder for her to move. Secondly is I can get nice and deep underneath it, which means her frame system's now null and void. Because she can't get the purchase onto my shoulder, I've knocked it out the way. So one thing she's going to start with is going to go switch base forward, which means that my weight's predominantly on my hip and my knee from here. Secondly is we go back step and I'm sliding. When I'm sliding, I'm trying to slide and I'm trying to lift my hips a fraction to pick up the arm to come underneath. So on the frame system, Emma's got a frame system in. So a lot of time we're trying to crush our partner, but I'm working against the frame. So this is better for her and worse for me, within reason. So what I'm doing is this, if I try it now, if I just back step my knees facing forward, I get rolled over. So my back step's always my legs facing backwards, so if she drives into me, I have a frame system. Secondly, is this, I slide my hips backwards, but I keep my hip low, so I'm like bringing my knees to the ground, pick up. Once I'm under, I come back in and I crush the frame system. So if Emma now tries to reframe, I have everything caught on the inside. Would like to see that one more time? Okay. So the space, if you can't see, you can move around. So the space right here is this elbow is the key, because this enables her to create space, and yeah, like that. Okay. So what we want to do is, to stop her from getting the frame system, is back step, knee down and take it away. So now if she tries to push away, there's nothing to push away. Does that make sense? So all I'm doing is I come underneath it. But what I'm doing, I'm not lifting my hips too high. I slide my leg forward, I come in and I start to crush. So if she tries to get a frame system out, because I've crushed it, it's harder for her to move. So on the other side, spread out the mat. It's going to go 2 minutes. So do it a couple of times each and swap over. 1, 2, 3. So the next part is the control, and it's probably one of the parts of the side control and jiu-jitsu that gets overlooked quite a fair bit, which is the head control. So from here, switch base, once again, is I open up the gate of my hips, slide backwards, come under from here. So what I like to do for this, I like to get head control of my partner. By having my arm on the outside, I can get access. If the hand's on the inside, she can parry and defend. So it's really important that when I pick it up, I'm trying to scoop my elbow over the top so the hand's on the back side. It gives me a bit more of a, I guess if we're going to race, I've got a bit of a head start, or what we call cheating. Okay, so either way. So it's really important that when we're here, so back step, knee facing forward, slide my hips backwards, pick it up, grab it. Now, this is a little bit of a rehash to what we've done. Is firstly my hand comes under and I scoop, don't grab your partner's hair, and I get what I call S-grip. S-grip. So I'm going to have my bottom hand's going to be facing fingers up, my top hand's facing fingers up as well, so up and up that way, S-grip. Second thing about it is, the most common thing I see is people do, they pull themselves in and the elbows separate, which Emma can now fight to the head position again. So what I want to do is at the opposite, I'm going to put my right elbow underneath my partner. I'm going to turn the head over so that all my weight's on my partner. Now this is really uncomfortable for Emma, but it's really good for me. Okay, make sure your weight's on your knees. If you take your weight onto your toes, you're going to get rolled over. Keep your weight on your knees. From here, start to drive your hip to your elbow and squeeze, and you're going to get a really nice control on them. You will tap people with this, right? But not Emma, she's too tough. back step, slide, elbow on the inside, S, from here, right elbow comes under, drive your right hip in, pick it up and squeeze. 9 out of 10 times you're going to try and push you away. They can't cutting armbar me because my elbow's high. Does that make sense? If I'm here, they can definitely, so elbow high. What they're generally going to do from here is they're going to try and frame. Your knee comes over and now we go in. So I've killed the frame and I'm in the top position. One more time. So, if you guys have dodgy shoulders, you might tap from this really early. Like if you're doing with Colin, he'll probably tap really, really early. So just be careful when you're moving around, or you don't want to hurt your partners with the shoulders. Okay. Back step, slide, pick it up on the inside. Hand goes under, try and go the hair. My right elbow comes under, my right hip slides in. Frame and crush until they start to react. Bring my knee up, crush it, and now we're flat, so that there's no way she can get a frame system to start to work. 1, 2, 3. So understanding the frame system and understanding how to beat the frame system. Once you kind of get this, your jiu-jitsu will change a little bit because you're no longer going to fight the frames, you've got to manipulate the frames. So from here, I've got the position, I've got my S control of my partner. From here, my right elbow's under, my left elbow's here, and S trying to frames against me. So the biggest thing that I see here is they try and go through the frame. Anytime I'm doing that, I'm not breaking his frame, I'm not manipulating it, and anytime I drive my way forward, he's going to use it to push me over. So I'm redirecting the frame. So the frame's strong here, but it comes weaker here. So once it's up in the air, I can manipulate it by pushing it. Does that make sense? When I'm trying to drive through it, this is a solid object, and I'm going to have a lot of trouble getting here. So I've got the frame system, he goes on the inside. So think about it this way, it says, I tap my knee high to come over the frame system. I'm not trying to go through the frame system. I'm going to exaggerate. I go high, come over and crush the frame system. I'm not putting any weight on Colin because it's hurting his shoulder already. But this by default, if you've got sore shoulders or biceps, they're going to tap to this pretty much straight away. Right? So if you think about it this way, his frame system on his right arm is designed to keep me at bay. But if I can change the frame system, it becomes weak. The downfall about it is I can't come up too high because he'll roll me over. To stop the rollover is my right elbow's underneath and I've compromised his head. Does that make sense? So now what I'm doing is I lift and I'm kind of killing in the inside and I crush from here, I get it nice and deep. So they're generally going to try and push away. As I push away, the upgrade is only right. So once you've got that gable grip on them, you're probably going to tap them from the knee right position. It's horrible, but you've got a step to change their frame structure. Who doesn't get that? It's okay if you don't. Okay, Ali G, come here. Head facing that way. So the grip, right hand under, left hand compromised, so right hand's in my armpit to try and get the frame. So if I try and drive through the frame system, I can't manipulate it. But if I come over and turn it, I'll crush it. So the downfall is I can't come over and give my base away. So how do I stop her from rolling me? She's not going to roll me now. You know what I mean? Like it's too compromised. Knee, crush, come in. They're generally going to go get off me. And here's your heavy knee ride straight away. Keep this pressure and you're generally going to get the tap from the knee ride or the upgrade to mount. Okay, so just that stepping over to redirect your frame is really important. 1, 2, 3. Feel the difference on that. This is that stuff when I roll with you, it's like, you feel so strong. This is my frame systems. Yeah. So if you feel it, you get it. This is kind of the nuts and bolts of the class that I want to kind of carry on with, and the theme that we're kind of working on for the remainder of this week and going into next week as well, which is what we call it's like a variation of the basic circuit. And the basic circuit is it works. If you think about it logically, it's a really good way to kind of work your jiu-jitsu foundations and work out how to move. Just grab Emma down, please. Head that way. Okay, so if you think about jiu-jitsu is the guard's probably one of the major positions that I want to dodge. So I want to get as far away from the legs as I possibly can. Does that kind of make sense? So a lot of the time that we're here, anytime that she bridges and pushes over close, she brings the legs back through and we're dealing with the guard. So anytime that I'm hip line on her, you know, she only has to move that far the rest of the guard. So I kind of want to go as far away from the legs as possible to avoid the guard. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm still not going to get submitted or put back in the guard or swept, but it gives me a far better chance. The second thing about it is she knows that, so she's generally going to try and stop me from getting what I call head control. So I've done the move where I've gone back step, picked up the arm, and she's got that. So she's trying to stop me from getting the head control position from here. I'm going to do the same deal, or the same principle, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend my right arm. So she's trying to stop my hand from coming underneath the head. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand high and then come over instead. Okay. So from there, like I'm going to kind of force this up. I'm trying to get here, and she's got the control. The more that I fight here, the more that my weight comes off her, the more she rescues, the more that she can move me around. So I need to be very aware that this elbow is still holding the hip. I'm going to try and get in position, she's no way, so I do turn my palm, come over from here. But I want to try and get my hand into this zone. Into this zone. So from here, nicely, I bring my chest in. And now I'm in this zone. So same as what my leg did with this frame here, my chest does it with this one. Does that make sense? So come under, switch. Now, I know she's generally going to try and rescue the guard, so block the guard out. So she can try and swing her legs through. Big step, come round, take the arm. Take the arm. The part that I want to say is right now, Amber can roll forwards or backwards because there's not really much control in it. I have a little bit, but not much. So first thing I do is I put my knee underneath the head and I try and get my elbow backside. My knee underneath the head and elbow backside. So she tries to roll me over, my weight's on the backside of her. 2 words, not 1 word. Okay, backside. Secondly is, if she tries to turn towards me, my knee's in the way as well. To give her, I guess, a guessing game is pinky goes down. So what am I going to do? Choke, armbar or Kimura? Yeah, whatever I want. So whatever. So once she goes to defend the choke by here, okay, I step over, kill, lift and Kimura. Because I'm controlling the head, I've actually now switched the arm down. The arm's isolated 100%, it's very hard for her to defend it. So let's break this down into a couple light motions so we understand. And head face that way. First one's getting our head into position, our hand into position. Frame system, backwards, pick it up, try and get head control, she uses her arm to stop it. Okay, chest goes forward, hand goes in the zone, here, block it out. Big step around the head, keep the pressure, hand goes underneath, I'll punch it through. Don't stop here. Most importantly, don't put the elbow forward, she can roll me over, keep the elbow behind, keep the pressure from here. Knee goes under, pinky goes down, we start our attacks. Let's go have a bit of a play around. If you're going to go the arm bar, step up to knee line. That way she can't stop, or it's harder for her to roll backwards. If you're going to go the choke, just lift the elbow towards the head. If you're going to go the tea bag, it's a technical term. Love you, babe. Through the arm. Lift it up. So when she protects it, she's struggling from lifting it up. But if I take the arm towards me, so if I take the arm towards me, it's harder for her to hold it. Yeah? So we're not trying to lift it up, take it away, swing it to the behind the back. Okay. Timer's on for 3, change partners. We'll come back and rehash this, so if you're having any troubles, I'll do a rehash again in about 3 minutes. Okay, 1, 2, 3, let's go. Your partners. Okay, North-South choke is really underrated. It pops up quite a lot, and it's generally designed when the person's trying to do the correct thing and wrestle up or scrabble up. Just grab column, please. Going to go super slow motion. Just so everyone understands how it works. Head over, please, call. Thanks, mate. So I've done the move here, we're hand fighting, I've done chest forward, I've got the position. As I'm here, Colin uses his frame system and starts to sit up to push me away. So for me, I wrap this, wrap it, I'm just going to drop into the valley circle and come to here. So Colin's going to move his hands out of the way. So where the arms interact is relevant. The two things I want to do is the space underneath my elbow needs to go. And I want to make sure I can push his head away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two things at once. I'm using my right hand to push his hips. This way, I raise, I bring my arm in deeper so it's nice and controlled. I'm squeezing through his shoulder and his chest at the moment, which is no good. So I'm going to push, extend my arm as long as I can, drop my head down, start to slowly squeeze. Once I'm here, come in. To make the choke work, don't squeeze your arm, walk your head slowly towards it and squeeze. So your arm, if you squeeze your arms are really small, but can't increase your weights on it. So I drive my hips in to close the gap up. So what we can do, we can start with a position where I want to get your arm out just so I don't hurt your arm. So as he sits up, I'm here, we're just going to wrap it. So I try and get this deep as I can, swing, control. Now your head has to go this side, not that side here. Push, slide off, get rid of space. So I make sure my left elbow's in as deep as I can from here. Push, slide from here. Post, walk my hips and squeeze, get the choke. You don't need to cup your hands together. You should be able to do this posting and holding. Every time that you've got to put your hands together, you're taking your frame out. A lot of times when people don't, that's your opportunity to get rolled. So I'll try and do this one with one hand in. Miles, can I grab you please? Hips facing me. So we'll start once again is, I've kind of got the position, and just for the argument's sake, we'll get rid of the arm, so the arm just goes under. Even if you've got a good shot, you don't want me kind of constantly pushing up. So as my hand's coming over, Miles sits up, and I'll bring my hands through, and I'll block the hip. Does that make sense? So the issue is my right elbow, my left elbow is too far, so I put my head down, and I'll push the hips from here. Once I'm down nice and low, it's going to slide backwards. So I try to get the position down off the body. His hands are there, which is going to be worse for him. It's still going to work without that. So the issue is this. Every time I put my hands together, I lose my base. So I put my head on a slide off. So I should actually be directly onto his neck. So there's only my shoulders onto his neck. I put my palm up and I start to walk my hips in towards his head and squeeze from here. Get out of the habit of bringing your hand to your body. It's a weak mechanic. You're walking your hips through. Okay, let's have a shot, guys. 1, 2, 3.